Hey, it's Sarah with Loaves and Dishes, and today I'm going to be showing you how to peel and seed a tomato. Before we get into today's video, be sure to subscribe so that you'll be notified when we upload. So this might be, I did not enjoy doing this, just FYI. Peeling a tomato feels kind of yucky in your hands. So I've got a couple tomatoes. And I am just very lightly scoring the bottom of the tomato with a little X. You do want to do this on the bottom. It doesn't have to be an X. You could make a little star if you wanted to. You could do whatever you wanted to, just so long as there's like a little cut. It doesn't need to be very deep or anything like that. So now I've got my water almost boiling. I was just too impatient to wait for it to boil anymore. And I boiled those for about 2 to 3 minutes, and you can kind of see the skin on the tomatoes is lifting away from the tomatoes. It's like bubbling up. So once it gets to that point, you want to remove that from the boiling water and you want to put it into an ice bath. And really the only reason that you're putting it into an ice bath is to stop the cooking, but also just to make it cool enough so that you can handle it. And you want to let it sit in the ice bath for a couple minutes to fully cool down. I was using a smaller pot, so I had to do these in batches. So I'm just doing another batch while the other tomatoes are cooling down. But this whole process, it really does not take long, and it's super easy. It's just feels a little gross when you have to peel the skin off the tomato. But this is a great way to prep tomatoes to preserve them. Like if you wanted to can them, this is what you'd need to do. If you wanted to can whole tomatoes like this. I'm not a canner. I've never canned anything, so don't take my word for it, but I'm pretty sure this is what you do. Okay, so once they've cooled down, the skin should be removed. It should be starting to peel away, and if you did it right, like I did here, it will just slough off in your hands. It does not feel good. I did not like it. So now I'm getting my knife and I'm just going to cut these. They're not cooked all the way. So the inside is still pretty firm. And anyway, so I'm getting these ready for tomato soup. So I'm just going to cut the little stem off, the little hard green part at the top. They were kind of slippery. So just be mindful of that. You want to make sure your knife is super sharp. That way you have less chance of cutting yourself, and you want to be really careful because they're super slippery. And then you're just going to grab a spoon and you're going to scoop the seeds out. I had a difficult time with this. I wish that I had left some of the original audio because I was talking to myself about how gross I thought this was. So you can see they're very slippery, but you just want to get the seeds and the kind of jelly substance that's around the seeds out. You don't really want that in if you're canning, you don't really want that in there. And if you're making soup, you don't really, if you're making soup, it's not going to hurt you, but you don't really want it in there. So then I'm just going to speed through the rest of this and do this for the rest of the tomatoes as well. You want to make sure you get off as much skin as possible, especially if you're making tomato soup, because I puree my tomato soup. I like to do a bisque instead of a chunky soup. But you don't want to peel in there. Maybe you do. Some people, if you like a tomato peel in your soup, go for it. But not me. And they don't blend up very well. That's just my opinion, though. Anyways, I was super lucky. My father-in-law gave me a whole bunch of these tomatoes, and they look really nice. They're big, pretty tomatoes. So if you're lucky to know somebody who's got a garden, tomatoes are generally pretty easy to grow. They're a pretty resilient plant. So if you're lucky enough to have somebody who'll give you some for free, it's great. But be sure to come back for the next video because I'm going to be making tomato soup with these tomatoes from scratch. Normally I used canned tomatoes because that's just the easiest, but when you got fresh tomatoes, you might as well use them. If you want to see more recipes, be sure to check out Loaves and Dishes, and thanks for watching.